Yeah, thank you. I just want to say first, all glory to God. Without him, I am nothing.
Power the shove, Neighbor Nation. We will see you on Saturday afternoon. Riley Meister gets the point.
Smacked into left field. Say goodnight to that baseball.
And there's another one. It's back to back Jacks for KSU Tuscarawas. He's the point, and it's alive. Hansen pushes it over. Unbelievable. We play on. It's blocked. We're tied. We're tied. Unbelievable.
Welcome into the post-game press conference for the MCVL Championship game. Up first, we have the second-place team, Baldwin Wallace. Coach, if you can start with your opening statement.
Yeah, that was a hard-fought match. I think there was ebbs and flows in each set, and it just came down to who's going to make plays there at the end. And, man, they work hard, and they get some uncharacteristic digs in men's volleyball that are kind of crazy and turn the tide. But hats off to those guys, but I just want to say how proud I am of our guys. I think that they scrapped, they worked, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to show up and be proud of the effort that we put in, and I think that we could say that we did that. So, yeah.
Gentlemen, anything to add? All right, my first question, it is for Ted. How many kills? Over 20, 25, I believe was your number. That might be a championship game record. Just an outstanding performance. Obviously not the result you wanted, but to show this, especially to the younger guys, what do you hope they take from your performance?
I hope they come out next year and just want to compete just like how we did. I think I'm honored to get the ball that many times, but I think it's just about putting in the work and the culture that we have. And I appreciate this is my 5th year from COVID, and I appreciate the opportunity from Mars to have that 5th year. And I wanted to go all out these last 2 games, and yeah.
Coach, this question is for you. A group led by the upperclassmen. What did you learn about yourself as a coach throughout this tournament? Because every year that you've been with this program from start to now, there have been improvements in some department. I just want to see kind of what you took away from this year.
Yeah, I think trusting the people that are doing the work out there is a big one for me. And I think that that's where I've taken a step forward, where we started a program where in year 1, it was like spoon-feeding a bunch of freshmen that were coming off of COVID and missing their high school season. And to work out of that has been a process that myself and our staff have been talking. It's like, hey, we really need to consult and make sure that what we're choosing to do is what they're feeling as well. And I think there's got to be alignment up and down the roster. So there's buy-in from the players, but there's also just making sure that our coaching staff is trusting the guys that have been players of the year and first team all conference and made it to the tournament already because they know good volleyball. And then I think another thing is like, hey, it's not all about the tactics of volleyball, and we have to make sure that what we're doing with these student athletes, they need to make sure that they're getting things that they can take away after college that they can use when they go get a job and go start a family. And I hope they feel that way, that they have those things. So.
And my final question before I open the floor to any other questions. From the time that you two were freshmen to now, the sport of men's volleyball has grown so much. To play in a tournament with games like this, how do you feel that this grows the sport? And say looking forward in 5 years' time, where do you want to see the sport of men's volleyball be?
Boy, you really left me with a doozy for that one. But, it's just been spectacular to see just the growth around the nation. I think when I came in my freshman year, I wasn't huge into, like, the overall tournament and whatever. But just seeing the growth of, it seems like it used to be like the top 4 teams. You knew every year who they were going to be, how it was kind of going to shake out. But nowadays, you're seeing teams that I think a great example was the very first weekend of this year that Westminster, whatever, out of Missouri, first weekend of their entire career, they beat Misericordia. So I think just like the depth overall, the talent across the landscape has improved drastically. I think we've seen that in our own gym. I mean, there's guys that this guy has recruited that do some insane things that I didn't think I would ever see at a D3 level. So I think the sport is going to only continue to get better.
Everything he said, and then I mean, being a part of the MCVL for 5 years, I think it's awesome for how much better the teams have gotten in the MCVL. It's a battle every single game now. There's no free wins, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, just a question for you, Coach Mars, but it could really be for anybody up there. When we talked to Mount Union yesterday, they just sung the praises of your entire team and just talked about how you guys are super respectful, you guys get along, you guys actually genuinely like each other outside of the volleyball court. Can you just talk a little bit about that camaraderie, being a guy that, played men's volleyball? You've been in the game for a long time, Kyle. Like, just that camaraderie between teams and the respect, and you guys both left it all out there today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, I think it's all about just like we have to understand that if we know each other off the court and we understand that people have differences and they come from different kind of backgrounds. Like we have guys from the West Coast, we have guys from Pennsylvania, guys from Ohio and New York, and they're all bringing something to the table, and you have to find the positives. And I think that as staff, we have to model that. So we spend a lot of time in some of the individuals just talking, and we don't talk about the game of volleyball. We talk about life, and we try to figure out like, hey, what makes you tick and what do you care about, and how can we apply that to the court? And I'm a big proponent of, we don't do a lot of like team building and let's get together, and share our feelings and stuff like that. We let it come naturally. So they do things off the court that don't involve me at all. And I am not the guy who's setting that stuff up. But they've bought into the fact that like, hey, if I want to get the most out of my teammates, I have to get to know them, and I have to build trust as a human being first. And that's just something that they've done a great job of. And now it's inherent, and when we recruit players, they see that, and if they feel like that's a fit for what they're looking for, then they're coming in. And it's rinse, wash, repeat, right? So, yeah, that's really how I would describe it. That's a good question.
Next question would be, can you just talk a little bit about what Ted Hoffmeister's brought to your team? Obviously, just what you could call a one-year rental, but I think you would take that rental deal any day of the week.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that comes to mind when people talk to me about Ted is like when we first got on the phone after last year, I was up front with him of how we operate, and we don't give out playing time. People have to earn it. And I think that was the first thing that we talked about was I was like, hey, Ted, I know you're the player of the year. I know that you're a guy who's been around for a long time and you're a 6'4" outside that can dime passes, but you have to show that to us every day because we have a lot of guys that do that. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. I just want to play some good volleyball. So he kind of was like, yeah, that's just another day for me, and that's what I'm looking for. And that conversation was like automatically, yeah, that guy's going to be a fit because he's not looking for a guarantee. He wants to earn that stuff. So that's the number one thing. But what he's brought is a level of IQ and seeing the game at a deeper level for all these guys. And what he does is every day and every match, he's talking it through with the younger guys like, hey, man, just make sure that you remember that we're seeing things this way, or have you considered this shot? And it's turning on the light bulb for a lot of guys that I don't know if we get that if he's not here. So, yeah, it's been great. I think that he should be really proud of what he brings to any team. And hopefully he's not done playing. We'll see how the knees will hold up. But yeah, it's been a joy to have him here, and his family as well is wonderful. Can't say enough.
And then Michael Beard, equally as impressive of an individual, brings a lot of intangibles to the court, along with being an incredible volleyball player. Just talk a little bit about his career at BW and you guys grinded through this whole thing together and got your team to where you're honestly nationally recognized as a very quality program.
Yeah. I think a silver lining of COVID for how crappy that time was that brought Beard to us. because he went through a tough time. He made a decision on another school at a higher level, and it didn't work out because they shut down. And I was looking to reach out to him. I was like, man, I'm going to give that a week for him to just let that marinate. It's hard to deal with that, man. I picked the school and it shut down. The next day, he got a hold of me and was like, hey, man, I'd like to check out your school again. And it also brought another individual who's on the women's team that we hired to help coach, and she's been fantastic too. Nicole Logan has been awesome, and she's going to be a great coach someday. But that doesn't happen randomly, in my opinion. I think it just fell into place, and I think that he was meant to be a Yellow Jacket. And how he's built this program and been a model for everybody else just coming through. I mean, there have been freshmen that have come in and been like, hey, I don't know how to deal with time management. I don't know how to deal with X, Y, and Z. It's like, look at this guy and go talk to him and pick his brain, and he's going to take them to lunch, and he is going to spend time with those guys. And it's just been a master class of how to be a high-level person. And by the way, he's great at volleyball, you know. But that hard work is going to be something I hope he takes away from what he does next, because he's going to be a wonderful father, and he's going to be a wonderful worker in whatever he does. And we're going to miss him. You don't replace people like this. You just got to reshape your team identity. So sorry to get sappy, but I can't speak enough. This is what makes it worth coaching, is like you get to know some high-level people that are teaching you things too.
Yeah, and then just last question for me would be for Michael. Obviously, like Coach said, a long career, maybe a winding road that got you to BW, but certainly put on and showed out for the Yellow Jackets for a while. There were some other guys that came and went, and you were still around, still doing your thing. So can you just talk a little bit about your career at BW and kind of your relationship with Coach and kind of where you're going to leave things?
I mean, I can't say enough good things about this guy sitting next to me. Taking me back after I turned him down the first time, you know, that was a tough phone call the first time. Second one was a little bit better. You know, all that we went through playing in masks freshman year, you know, all the guys that I've met along the way, you know, the guys who made it all 4 years, the guys who didn't make it all 4 years, the guys who made it 5 years. I mean, it's just been an honor to get to know all these different people from, like he said, all across the country. And I'm just forever grateful for this program. Like he said, I couldn't be more happy with where I ended up. I feel like I was meant to be here, and that's all I can say about it.
Any other questions for these three? Cool. Well, we appreciate you three as always. It makes sense why Mount Union was singing your praises, and we know that you guys are an incredible group with an incredible coach. So we wish nothing but the best to you three and BW men's volleyball going forward. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome into Mount Union's portion of the post-game press conference for the MCVL Championship game. Coach, I will open up the floor to you for your opening statement.
Yeah, hard-fought game by both sides. Big respect to Baldwin Wallace for the effort they just put forth. Same to my guys. Huge effort. Never quit, never die type of attitude that we displayed there. Really was fun to be Xing and Oing against them. We had a lot of very intricate things that we were trying to work on defense and trying to contain. And big props to them. They kept us on our heels defensively. So we wanted to make sure that we were doing the best we can in terms of containing, obviously, then transitioning that into offense. Serve and pass game needed to be on point today, and we ended up trying to manage that as best as we could too. So it was something. It was just intensity. It was who wanted it more by the fifth set, and it was I didn't expect anything less.
Any other additions to the opening statement, gentlemen?
I mean, I love the fact that we just played hard and we never gave up on each other. It was just a well-fought team win, and I mean, props to them. It felt like every time we put our best foot forward, they fired right back. It was honestly so fun to play that game.
Yeah, another just hard-fought win. It was great to play them, I think, in close succession. It was definitely interesting going to fight with them both times, so it's just a great team, and it's always fun to play them.
Like they said, great game. I think it really came down to execution. We really had a game plan, and we played great. Executed well. Went to 5. We weren't looking for that, but took care of business, and we got the job done.
Coach, my first question for you. I told you this one was coming. Going back to the first couple games of the year in California, that Cal Lutheran game, a reverse sweep. How did playing from behind in those games help prepare you for today, a game that you guys had to fight back from behind pretty often?
Yeah, I don't think if we are as experienced a team coming out of the gate this year that game goes that way. The experience that brought us through that game of not letting what they're doing affect us or affect the next play or the next set or whatever it might be. We started managing, we started taking control, we started utilizing our strengths, hiding our weaknesses, that sort of thing. And that fight, grit, and tenacity really helped us to pull through that game and through a lot of other games where we just kept a cool, calm, collected manner, just to try to make sure that we're coming out on top. So that helped us to, well, number one, it put a huge target on our back. Number two, it helped us to drive us harder and make me coach harder, make my guys work harder in practice so that we know that we're getting a fight every single night. So that really builds on a team and helps you through really tight windows of, times of adversity, times of, just kind of trying to clutch up and make sure you're taking care of business on your side.
Looking at this season, undefeated in conference play, winners of 11 straight games in a row. You guys become the first team since Fontbonne back in 2021 to win both the regular season and the tournament championship. What does that mean to this program, a program that is still trying to really put themselves in that elite number 1 tier?
Yeah, those programs that are up there have had programs for a long time. Big history, big growth, big history of winning. We're still trying. We're still striving towards being that elite level type of team and program. I think this obviously helps a tremendous way to seal both these tournament and regular season wins. It pushes us forward, helps with our the guys that are super experienced here and come out and absolutely just don't blink and don't flinch in the face of adversity.
And my final question is for everybody. It's a twofold question. Number 1, how are you guys going to celebrate this win tonight? And number 2, what's the plan to watch the selection show on Monday?
We're going to celebrate together as a team, and I'll leave it there. And then for Selection Monday, we'll probably all get together here and watch it in the film room. So, you have anything you want to say? Anything?
So this is going to be a question more for Jack and Will here. BW, it was a rematch of 2 years ago, championship game once again. Can you guys just go through that and kind of just talk about the emotions of playing against them once again in the championship?
Yeah, we definitely felt the deja vu, and we mentioned it to each other before the game. You know, we played Trine that year too, and they played Wittenberg that year too. So it was essentially the same teams and same spot. So I was just happy it went the other way.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said it wasn't in the back of my head during that game. And actually,
our defense and where he was swinging. You know, we talked about getting up early, pressing. Our defense and where he was swinging. You know, we talked about getting up early, pressing hands. You know, don't let him use your hands, pull those hands. You know, that kind of stuff. That's just those little different things that kind of give him different looks to kind of think about and try to have him, you know, flinch. And he didn't. You know, he just kept swinging, kept scoring, and obviously a huge thorn in our side. Looking at numbers after the third set, you know, we knew that was their go-to guy, of course, and we knew that coming in, but. You know, we needed to make sure that we clamped down our defense on that, and he made it very difficult for us today, and big props to him. He had a great weekend this weekend. Played a great game today, and obviously yesterday too. And you know, he much respect to him. He had a great weekend.
Peyton, the Offensive Player of the Year isn't actually in this room right now. You were the Defensive Player of the Year for the MCVL. Kind of talk about Michael and how his blocking and hitting kind of helped you relax in the back row and get so many digs.
Yeah, his play makes my life easier. I can just put it at that. He sets up a block and lets the ball just funnel to me. It helps me get a lot more digs, helps our defense. I mean, everyone knows, like, Bowler's a big presence up there, so they want to avoid him. And it just happens. He takes away the rest of the court, and the ball comes my way. Bowler's a big guy on their team. He means a lot to us.
And then question for the three players, because it's about Coach. Coach of the Year. And then you could see his son run onto the court after the game and hug him. Just to talk about family and how, like, the community coming out these last two games for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, out of everything that Coach does X and O wise on the court and getting us through drills and practice, even if we don't like him sometimes, I think the best thing he's ever done for this program is created a family. I mean, he brings his kids in all the time. We all love his kids. They always come up and run up to us. At the end of the third set, I got a kill to end the set. I turned around and his kids were sitting right there, high-fiving him. It's a great atmosphere, and honestly, that's probably been my favorite part about this whole experience at Mount so far is the family, honestly.
Yeah, Coach has fostered a great culture for us. You know, as you guys said yesterday, the calmness that he brings, I think that's reflected to us, and you can kind of just see it throughout everyone. It's been a great 4 years, and
yeah, just to tag on to them, we spend every day together. Sundays, Saturdays, it doesn't matter. Our team's always together. We're just building, getting stronger, and we just spend tons of time, and it's great because it helps on the court too. We run really fluidly. We all communicate with each other on the court, but sometimes we don't, and we just know where everyone's gonna be. And it's just like playing with like your brother or your sister in the backyard. I mean, they're right there for you every time.
Question for me. I'm sure you guys noticed it, but when you switched in set 5, you guys were down. Your fans went absolutely crazy. Can you just talk about the support that you've gotten from the Mount Union community? I know I saw some basketball guys. It was probably half the Mount Union athletic department here today, but just talk a little bit about that support that you've gotten, and do you honestly feel like that helps spur you to win in set 5?
yeah, I mean, yesterday and today, huge crowd. Definitely more people today, I think, too, which was awesome to see, especially for an earlier game. But it was just great to have people come out. I mean, I know we're a new program, so it's understandable that we'd have less of a crowd, but it's just awesome to see everybody there.
Yeah, I mean, I know from experience, just from being here, how important the crowd is. So that's why any chance I can, no matter what point it is, I always try to turn to the crowd, get them hyped up. Because, I mean, they're our 7th man on the court. I mean, there's been so many occasions where people have missed serves because our crowd's going crazy or anything like that. And yeah, like the basketball guys, those other sports teams coming out and supporting us. I think that's just a Mount Union culture. We love to go support each other. We go to those basketball games all the time, and we see them out and about, and they're like, we'll be there on Saturday, and they come out and they showed out today. So.
Yeah, it really goes on to a sense of community here. our motto is Raiders support Raiders. So it's like you see them everywhere. Like you'll see a baseball team come in here. It doesn't matter what team. I feel like the culture, like Jack said, is really big. I mean, everyone supports everyone. You see someone in the hallway, and you just know them because they're showing up to your games, they're talking to you. I mean, it's a great sense of community here.
Yeah, and that's helps us along. It helps us along the way because that home crowd really, really is very enthusiastic for us, and it really puts a vibe through our team, gets them hyped, gets them together, and spurs them on to, win that point or play hard-nosed defense, that kind of thing. That was the talk all through the timeouts and stuff. And 5 is nothing hits the floor. Just go, get it. Ball hits the floor, then I want 3 people around it, that kind of thing. Like, just do it, that type of mentality. So I wrote on the board this morning, and it was ironic, but it was Carpe Diem. It was a motto from my college at Mercyhurst up in Erie, and it's just seize the day, just seize the day. And it was ironic, and I have no idea who it was still. We looked across during warm-ups across the way, and there was a young man in a black sweatshirt and white print said Carpe Diem on his hoodie, or on his sweatshirt. I go, what? How? They go, Coach, you plant that guy there? I go, no, I have no idea who that is. And so it resonated. It just resonated with the guys, and it really brought it home to what we were after. Just seize the opportunity. We put ourselves into a good position. We're at home, that type of thing. Nothing else matters. Just seize the day. Today is what matters. So we had that.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even see that guy. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just another question for Coach. You guys have been up and found a way to win. You guys have been down and found a way to win. It just kind of seems like Mount Union this year finds a way to win. Yeah. How do you take that mentality and that message into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, and, I feel like what it is the experience of these guys. Don't flinch in the face of adversity. I feel like it's that type of mentality, that type of, just raw, get it done any which way you can type of mentality. You start, somebody starts a flame, and that flame ignites a fire, and so that really helps us to get through sets, get through points. In times of adversity, we come together, we talk, we absolutely, get on the same page and recenter, refocus, and go after it again. So, it's ahead or behind, that type of thing. We have played in a lot of matches where we've lost by 2 points, won by 2 points. It's been my ticker's really hurting right now. So it's a lot of more gray hair this year. So it's been very exciting, and all the fans walk up to like, Coach, on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like we just couldn't. We were clapping, my hands hurt. That kind of thing. Like it's that type of just excitement and that everybody's rowing the same way on the boat. So
last question from me. I think all of you guys can provide some energy, but Peyton is definitely the energy bus out there. Peyton, just talk about your mentality. You do seem like you're cool, calm, and collected until your team wins the point. And then you really are able to provide that source of energy for your team. So can you just talk a little bit about sort of how you see your role as a libero, kind of a guy that's a quiet but also a loud leader?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in the point, I try to keep everyone collected, like you said, talking about where the hitters are, talking about our defensive scheme, big thing. But we get a point, it's my job to go crazy. I got to get these guys hyped up. I'm not the one putting the ball away, they are. So I got to be right there for my teammates. They get a block, they get a kill. Got to hype them up, get up in their face, have a good time with them, push them around, punch them a little bit. I like to get them hyped up. And anything I can get them, if I can get them amped up and going, I think we're going to be a good team. And it's hard to slow us down energy-wise.
Yeah, I think from the hitter's perspective, throughout my entire volleyball career, when I turn around and my libero is standing right there in my face screaming, let's go, and I have a video on my phone of him going, right behind me, and when I see that, that gets me going, and he knows that he can't provide those sort of kills, and so he knows that he's going to get the dig, and then when we get the kill, he provides the energy, and it's awesome. We probably wouldn't be at this point without that.
Coach, I have a question for you. So the NCAA changed their way of making it into the NCAA tournament this year for bids. You kind of knew going into this game that you guys would not get a bid, either you or BW. Kind of just talk about that motivation because you scheduled hard this year, and you won the big game to start, kind of lost a couple of the big games in between, but just talk about that, knowing it could be your last game today.
Yeah, you know, and we don't really talk about that, it being our last game. We talk about what it takes to win. You know, we schedule hard for a reason. We schedule so that these types of moments can happen and set ourselves up for success. So, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, the teams that we schedule with, they know they're getting a good game, and they're you know, going to get some good activity from us. They're going to get some good, you know, offense from us. We're going to make them work for points, and it's just one of those things that, you know, really helps us to become a better team as well. BW has the same mindset. You know, they have a very similar mindset. We schedule similarly. We, you know, obviously are in the same backyards, recruiting type of thing. So, you know, while we got it this year, you know, I you know, give it up to them next year. That, you know, whatever it might be, they're you know, built for success just like we are. I mean, we have that mentality of, you know, go after everybody.
Thanks, guys. NCAA tournament selection shows on Monday, 10 a.m. So NCAA.com will definitely be watching to see where you guys get to go. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.